Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, and it's Tuesday. That means we are drafting another best ball Millymaker team. Tyler, how you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, I know you're under the weather, so I will carry the show a little bit here, so you don't got to do all the talking. But I'm good. Ready to draft another team. Hopefully, we don't got to get into our little battles like we did last week, but we probably will. So should be another fun one.
Yeah, we probably will. I'm going to hit the intro video, and then we'll be back ready to draft this team. All right, Tyler, we're back. Not a lot of NFL news. Was the Aaron Rodgers made official the last time we were on here?
Yeah, he was already in Pittsburgh the last show we did, and I think we talked about it. The only thing that really improves, I think DK was going to be DK regardless.
Yeah,
I think it helps out Freiermuth and Jalen Warren a lot.
Yeah, I think it does too. Just their ability to extend drives and get some competent play there. So, how excited are you? Are you thinking you're going to be able to win the AFC North now?
No, Baltimore's got unless Baltimore gets hurt and they look like San Fran of last year, where all their guys are hurt, they're going to win it.
Are you guys going to finish ahead of Cincy?
Probably not. It'll be close though. I'll say it'll be close.
All right, it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. I'm trying to think if there's any other news. Not really.
I think that's pretty much it. There's been no movement whatsoever. Chubb was already signed. Cam Akers signed with the Saints, so he's getting another chance. But what does that even matter?
Yeah, we're not drafting him. And then where did Dobbins end up? In Denver?
Dobbins is in Denver, but that happened before the last show we did too. So there's nothing really going on.
Yeah. I'm actually happy that Dobbins went to Denver because I want to pick more RJ Harvey, and now we should be getting better value on him.
Yeah. Our guy Spunky in the chat asking us, who's the best player you've seen fall to the second round of DK drafts? Nico Collins? He doesn't come up.
We had one. I swear we had like St. Brown or someone in the second round once.
But I'm just thinking of guys that normally are going in the second round when we do these drafts. Like St. Brown's coming off in that 10 to 12 range a lot. It's Nico that's getting to the second round.
Yeah.
Got to get everyone's bye weeks pulled at their bye weeks and their 15, 16, 17 schedules pulled up on the other screen before we get this started.
Sounds good. Yeah, so not a lot of NFL news lately. This is kind of like the lull. And then what? The official camps will begin in what, around a month?
A couple weeks.
Yeah. So that should be fun. We'll have
about a couple weeks, right around a month.
Yeah, we'll have a better idea on the depth charts, and that should help us as far as trying to implement the zero RB strategy, which is why we've talked about this before. We're going to go more hero and anchor RB and then try it for the zero RBs like a little later in the summer.
I'm not big on the zero RB strategy. I'm kind of like
with it, but I want to wait until we know. Like Tyrone Tracy didn't really like get onto our radar till what, like mid-August last year, and he was one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's just very hard with that, and you could still land a lot of these top receivers anchoring two running backs. Like, for instance, how many teams we walked away with like Jonathan Taylor and Bijan? And it's like, all right, our third running back, we can wait for a while because these two probably fill their spots every week. They're getting double digits.
Yeah.
So unless we get an injury, I like anchoring with two of those top guys and not coming back until, like, say, the Warrens of the world and those kind of guys.
And unlike Underdog, I don't think we need the running back to be in the flex as often.
No.
Underdog, I want my running back in the flex more often.
Yep, I totally agree with you. But you about ready to do this one?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
all right, here we'll click in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you see Malik Neighbors isn't participating in OTAs? That is a little bit of news I seen today.
How come?
I didn't see exactly why. They just said he wasn't participating.
He's had some things to say. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't like that team.
He doesn't want to be there, and being as though he's his second year and he's already causing problems. Like, we've seen guys do it before. I mean, was it? Kadarius Toney was the last one in New York to do it. But Neighbors is 10 times the player.
Yeah.
All right, we're going in. And any guesses? Right. Spread pick 11.
No way.
Every time.
Unbelievable.
Spunky's at pick 4, so he's kind of out of our way.
We should just title these videos Best Ball Live Draft, best strategies for pick 11.
Yep, best strategies to pick in the back end of the draft.
Yeah.
So it looks like in the 11 spot, unless someone falls to us, it'll probably be wide receiver and then running back on the comeback.
Where's Spunky at?
4. We got a little distance in between us.
He won't be able to snipe us as much this time.
He's gonna have to reach to snipe us now. He's not sitting one spot in front of us.
I don't know.
Spunky says Neighbors is dealing with a toe injury. He started Nico Amon-Ra from the 110.
That's not bad.
Nah, that's not bad. Or Meg's in the chat.
Yeah, it's a good title, huh?
I mean, I swear, if we went back through and looked at all these DK teams, like a lot of our first picks are in the 11s. I think we have a couple that are in like the 3 to 5 range. I don't think we've ever landed one.
We have not.
The way to build that team out of a 1 spot, I think, because of course the default team everyone's going to go to is Jamar, come back with T. Higgins, Chase Brown, and then get Joe Burrow on your next turn. I kind of like getting Chase, leaving T out, getting Chase Brown. And because since he plays Miami and Arizona, they play Arizona in what would be the championship week. Get Marvin Harrison instead of T. Higgins. You see what I'm saying? Because then you have the week 18 matchup of the 2 stud receivers. And you could also come back and build with the Arizona, get James Conner in the backfield with Chase Brown, get some Kyler Murray to go with Joe Burrow. Like, I think those are the 2 teams you should try and stack.
Yeah, I like that idea.
With that, out of that first position, like, that's the team I'm trying to build.
All right, let's see where this draft takes us here today.
Saquon. We haven't seen that very often recently.
I don't think that's a good pick. I would take Bijan.
No, see, like even Spunky's given like a different build to that team. Like I don't even mind this. Would it be crazy going Chase McBride or Marvin Harrison, T. Burrow? I don't think it'd be all that crazy. Like you're getting that
those are good
in week 17.
Yeah.
Bijan falling right in Spunky's lap.
Yeah, he's got to take Bijan, right?
I mean, you got to take Bijan right there.
All right, if anyone else is drafting with us, let us know in the chat. We would love to see it.
I wouldn't mind getting your guy here, Genty, if he slips a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he will, though. He seems like he's pretty popular. Although the Carroll news that he wants to go with more Mostert, do you think that that's going to give us some more Genty value, or do you think it just raises Mostert without affecting Genty?
I just think he maybe uses them in the red zone a little bit. Excuse me. All right, what are we thinking here? Reliable?
Sure.
Why not?
All right, and let's see where we go next. I would like to run him back with the wide receiver here, though. I don't think we should start 2 running backs.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think Mostert goes up without Genty being affected.
Do you want to go Brian Thomas?
Yeah.
Or Lai McConkey?
I'd rather have Thomas.
We'll go Brian Thomas then. Different build for us this time.
Yeah.
And now just looking at what they match up with in week 15, 16, 17. Baltimore's got Cincy, New England, and Green Bay. and Jacksonville has the Jets, Denver, and Indy. So we're not going to be able to get Jonathan Taylor, but maybe some Downs, some Tyler Warren to get that matchup there late.
All right.
And we know
What's
Indy.
up with Pittman? Is he even going to play this year?
He was dealing with the back problem, but they said he avoided serious injury.
Okay.
It's like a weird, like not a weird click for me, but like he's one of those wide receivers when healthy. He's probably the likes of Drake London.
He went in the 30s last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's just the problem with it. You could draft him and he could just be done pretty quick with his back injury. So, and Downs with Daniel Jones should be able to eat out of that little slot position. There's your guy Brock Bowers. Let's see what our guy Spunky does here.
He likes McBride. I wonder if he's going to take him.
JT, I see Bijan JT. That's a great 2 running back start.
That was funny. Was it last week, the week before, where you pulled up Taylor stats and they were way better than Jacobs?
Yeah, you kept trying to tell me we got to take Jacobs. Every week I wrote off, it was just Taylor.
Yeah.
And then the best part was Jonathan Taylor put his best games up in the 3 weeks you needed him.
Yeah.
And in the 3 weeks you needed Jacobs were his 3 lowest scoring weeks of the year.
Which is crazy because I thought being in Green Bay, right, the cold weather, that would be his biggest usage.
Yeah. It was almost like they started to teeter off towards the end of last year too. They didn't have that same pickup like they did in recent years.
Yeah.
See, I think our guy in this 2 spot thought he'd be able to get Jacobs and get T on the comeback. Thought he was just going to sneak that in there, and that guy didn't let it happen.
If you think about it, since the guy had already drafted a,
well, see now he's got the Chase.
He probably
Marvin
should have gone
Harrison.
the other way. Yeah, that we talked about. But
Yep.
you see what I'm saying? If you're trying to do that with one of the guy already having running backs, like I know Spunky did, and Spunky's obviously a sharp drafter. But when you start with 2 running backs, like obviously it's nice because you don't have to worry. But now you're just wide receiver.
Yeah, you got to rip off 3 or 4 of them right in a row.
I would have taken Higgins. My guess is that he wouldn't have taken Jacobs, but who knows? So Spunky went with my guy JSN there.
He's got a matchup in Week 15 with the Colts in Seattle.
Where's that at?
In Seattle.
If it's in Indy, wouldn't it be way better?
Yeah. That's why I love the Jacksonville Indy game in Week 17. It's in the Dome. It's a divisional game. They always tend to shoot out too, regardless of how bad these 2 teams are. Let's switch back over, see what we're coming into.
Yeah, let's see what we got. We haven't gone like hero or elite QB very often.
I mean, if our guy's here, I think we just pair him with the running back.
Okay. Do you think he gets to us?
I think he might. I mean, it all depends on what these guys do. He went Tyreek Hill. I don't know exactly what these guys' 2 rosters look like, but
yeah, we'll go back.
I feel like Josh Allen's going to come off the board before him. Could have just jinxed myself. Yep.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like,
you want to go some Josh Allen?
Yeah, let's do it. And then what are we looking at here? I'm thinking wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I'm down for either DJ Moore. It's pretty much the only receiver I'd take in this range.
I like Worthy too.
DJ. My worry is with Rice back, it's not going to be the same Worthy.
Yeah. My worry is that they're just only going to average 17 points a game again.
I think at some point this team has to bounce back to where it's offense over defense. It's been defense over offense for the last 2 years where they're trying to cover for not having wide receivers and having an old Travis Kelce. At some point that this flips and the receivers are all speed burners, which it looks like they are now, and the offense starts to pick back up. So Could be this year.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to let Mahomes just gunsling. Let him look like he did in his first couple years.
But I'm wondering if they're just thinking like we don't want him to get hurt.
I get that, but letting him air it out a little bit more isn't going to get him hurt. Let me switch back over to the big board, see how this is playing out. Our guy Spunky's coming around.
Oh, dude, remember how I was complaining about Underdog and the location issues?
Yeah.
Why is that happening on DraftKings now? That's why I ended up not being able to do that one on Friday.
That's terrible.
I can do it from my phone,
I
but
wonder
it
why it's
won't,
doing
it
that.
won't do it from my laptop. Yeah.
One thing we need to do before it comes back to us, let's find our guy Khalil Shakir. There he is, 77. Get a star on him.
All right.
Spunky, you better not do it.
Who took 2 tight ends?
Trey McBride and George Kittle.
Wow.
Divisional battle with the tight ends. One of them probably falls into the flex a lot of times, too, if you think about it.
I guess, but I don't know. I don't like that strategy.
McBride was a walking 10 points last year, and Kittle has his spike weeks. So,
yeah. And Kittle should be better this year with the wide receiver situation kind of opening up with Debo.
I agree. Our guy's Funky in the chat. I'm not taking Shakir.
Thank God.
Yeah, because looking at these picks, probably have to take them on our comeback pick.
Wow, Ted McMillan dropped.
He did drop a little bit, yeah. I mean, we had this string of running backs outside of we had ever since we took Moore. The only receivers that came on the board were J-Mo, Metcalf, Worthy, Sutton, and then Hunter, and then Smith went. Yeah, then Ted. Yeah. This guy taking the 2 tight ends probably where Ted would have fit in 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Switch back over. I want some Waddle if he's there.
All right, fair enough. What do you think of Walker? I keep going back and forth on him. I mean, I think he's be good when he plays. I'm just worried that you only get like 10, 11 games out.
That, and he also is he's in trade rumors. That's the second time that guy's taken the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
What, and they just give it over to – can you imagine how undervalued Charbonnet would be if they traded
Where do you
Walker?
want to go now? Waddle came off the board, and so did Walker. You want to go RJ Harvey?
Yes.
Then we'll come back with Shakir.
Okay.
Scroll down a little bit, but he won't make it to us on the comeback.
That's fine, yeah. And to me, he's like clearly the number one there.
Yeah, and it's like, what are we leaving on the board? Coming off injury, Chris Godwin, Juwan Jennings, who, good luck telling me who's going to be wide receiver 1, 2, 3 in that room. Jerry Jeudy with their quarterback situation. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 2. Rome Odunze, who looked terrible last year. And Chris Olave was the only other guy in front of him.
Yeah, he's almost like Kenneth Walker. How many games are you going to get out of him?
Exactly.
Dang, what was I going to ask you?
Where's Denver on this? Denver gets Green Bay, Jacksonville, so we get a little week 16 stack with Harvey and Brian Thomas. And then they play KC in week 17. And that's at KC. And if KC's run defense is still their weakness spread, RJ Harvey could have a big game.
Yeah. Who does Buffalo play for the little end of the? Who's Buffalo play?
at New England, at Cleveland, Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be a Philly matchup in the championship week. But the two away games are in terrible weather situations.
Yeah, that's kind of lame, actually.
The schedule I like the most for the fantasy playoffs is probably Miami's. At
Who they
Pittsburgh.
have?
Yeah, it's at Pittsburgh. So it's like, okay, that could be their one tough game. But Pittsburgh's normally a point in this schedule. This is where they're coming down. Their defense isn't the same. Guys are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play 2 home games, Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. Tell me those don't smell like shootouts.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Who is Baltimore's playoff schedule?
At Cincinnati, New England, at Green Bay. Derrick Henry and Green Bay. I like that week 17.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We talk about Josh Jacobs being tough to tackle. Let's put the best one out there.
Yeah. Spunky grab Laporta in round 6. That's a good pick.
One other schedule that could be sneaky spread that I think that last 3 games could win you something, but it's going to be tough for you to build the team around this stack to get you there. Carolina goes at New Orleans, so they'll be in a dome against a weaker defense. Home for Tampa Bay, and then home for Seattle. That's not a bad 3-game stretch.
Yeah. Seattle might be tough, but once you get there, right?
Yeah. All right. We can go whatever way you want here. I'd be down for Pearsall, Pollard. Actually, Josh Downs would be my guy here. If he falls, let's see if this guy takes my guy.
Let's grab Downs on the second one.
Downs is going to go right here. This dude's taking the last 2 guys I've said. Nope, he took Coop Cup. So you want to go Downs on the second one? Who do you want to take here?
Yeah. You want to take Hawkinson? I don't think we've drafted him yet.
I don't think we have really any. Yeah, we'll go with Hawkinson. Switch it up a little bit. I just didn't think we had much correlation there.
No, we don't. It was just kind of a way to diversify.
At Dallas, at Giants, home for Detroit.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, spread the move, like just looking at the way this board was playing out. No, honestly, the move should have been Josh Downs first, Bo Nix second.
And they max him with Harvey.
Match him with Harvey. Denver plays.
Well, ideally, Allen is going to be our quarterback. Like 16.
Denver plays Jacksonville in week 16, and Indy plays Jacksonville in week 17. So you get both games covered.
Yeah. I can't believe Golden's going ahead of Jaden Reed.
That doesn't make much sense to me. Darnell Mooney's also not getting disrespected, but getting drafted a little earlier than expected in my eyes. But he should get a lot of targets. I mean, he got 106 targets last year. He's going to play wide receiver 2 for them. Thought you froze up on me for a second, spread. Thought I seen your mouth move.
No, I'm here. I'm just a little quieter than usual.
Yeah, no, you're dealing with the sickness.
Dude, I'm not used to it either. Like, I get colds all the time, and I know how to fight through those. But the stomach flu, it's like, oh my god.
Oh, stomachs are the worst.
So yesterday I got up, and I was like, I'm not feeling my best. But I was like, once I get moving, I'll be fine, right? And I was going to do some of the yard, burning all the yard stuff. Dude, about like 15 minutes in, I'm just like, I am done.
You're beat, yeah.
I went back in and slept the whole rest of the day, emptied out my whole insides or whatever. Unbelievable. I haven't had a stomach flu in forever.
Yeah, it is not a fun experience, stomach flu.
Mm-mm.
Let's see what we can target on the way back. Who's in Minnesota's 3 games in the playoffs? So we got.
That's so funny. We talked about Golden going ahead of Jaden Reed, and then
he goes one pick ahead of
him. And then Spunky's able to get Jaden Reed, who I would rather have.
So Minnesota gets at Dallas, at the Giants, and Detroit in their 3 games. So I don't think we're going to get much correlation out of the tight end spot.
No, that's fine. I mean, we need correlation everywhere. Just I actually kind of like running Hawkinson rather than Nix, and just the ideas if everything goes well, right? We could get a top 5 tight end, and Josh Allen should be our starter 16 weeks of the year.
I agree. So, can I talk you into some JJ McCarthy later?
Yeah, you can. Although I don't think he's going to be that good. I don't know. Maybe he will.
All right. A little bit of a dilemma here. Pittman, Keon Coleman, or Tyler Warren? Or do we grab our 3rd running back here?
So I say no.
And if we're grabbing our 3rd running back, I got a hard stance on this.
And yeah, no Warren. I don't really want Keon Coleman either. I didn't think he was that good.
I got a hard stance on the running back we should take, and it's Etienne.
All right, let's do it.
Just it matches the Jacksonville stack for us, and I think he's going to bounce back under Cohen. And we might even get Coleman on this comeback.
Cohen to me is this huge unknown.
Yeah. Now on this comeback, do we want to go Coleman? Do we want to go Warren? Well,
I don't want to go Warren at all. I think we should go Scatterbo.
You want to go Scatterbo?
Yeah.
Or that gives us, because who plays the Giants? Minnesota plays the Giants in week 15. So, yeah, there we go.
Oh, so we did have some correlation after all.
Yeah, because we're not taking any quarterbacks. Yep, we'll go Scatterbo.
So, all right, cool. We get our Fanspeak contract extended for another week.
Yeah, I'll say we just got extended. What did our guys say in the chat up here?
Yeah.
Heard employees review, so we drafted him.
Yeah.
Our guy Justin said he's got us on the TV. We're on the big screen.
All right, good to see it.
Let's get the board switched back over, see what's going on. I feel like Stevenson goes a little late, too, compared to Henderson. Like, Henderson coming off at 63 and you being able to get Stevenson at 114 just smells like one of those spots where the vet dominates the backfield for like 6 weeks. And then the rookie starts to implement his way in.
Yeah, I think, there are a lot of concerns that Stevenson lost his little burst or whatever, right?
Yeah, but he's a good pass-catching back out of the backfield, too. Like, I just don't think Henderson's going to walk in and just dominate the room. Could he? Of course. He's a great player, but
and if McDaniels gets that offense going, I mean, this is hyperbole, right? But it could be a Montgomery Gibbs situation too, right? Where both of them are viable. Yeah. So, and that all goes off my idea that I think New England's getting 2nd place in that division this year.
And Henderson already had to play in this 2 running back system with Judkins, so he knows what that's like.
Yeah. Well, most players are in the 2 running back system right now, except for our guy Derrick Henry.
There goes our guy JJ McCarthy. That's pretty early for him.
Oh well, boy, what a disappointment. I mean, the guy averaged like 100 yards a game in college.
It's my biggest thing on. I mean, I got to back-to-back quarterbacks. I don't know what's going on there, but
when you wait that late, I don't mind going back to back if you've waited that long.
Yeah, my thing on JJ
because then you're just hoping you get 8-8.
I don't think his talent is up here with the likes of these guys that got drafted super high like he did. But he played in a professional style offense at Michigan. So it's kind of the way he's going to play in the NFL. He has the best wide receiver room and probably one of the best play callers in the league. All he has to do is be safe with the ball. Tell me that isn't him playing at Michigan again.
Yeah, that's true. That'll be a fun one to watch week 1. I wonder how many times they'll drop him back week 1.
It'll be an interesting one to see. And I also think when they do drop him back, I mean, even the playoffs when they won it, like you've seen him put together some drives against the likes of Bama where a lot of those guys play in the NFL now.
Yeah.
All right, what are we thinking here? Coming up around the bend. We're sitting on 1-4-4-1, so can go any way we want. Kincaid's there. Wouldn't mind Jaden Blue, who I think is the best running back in Dallas's room.
I wouldn't mind either one of those quarterbacks at the top of our screen either. I wouldn't mind Luther Burden.
Luther Burden just went. Do we want to go Stroud, Kincaid, or Blue?
I think they're all good. What do you think?
Let's go Stroud.
Okay.
Then depending on if this guy takes one of the two, we'll decide on the other.
What's the where's our wide receivers to backstack Stroud?
We're at 4 wide receivers.
But where is the ones that are left there for
Kyle
Stroud?
Williams is the first one up, and then Jack Beck.
No, I'm saying on Houston.
Oh, it's going to be Royals. Noel, 186.
All right, let's try to get him next round. We don't need him right now.
Okay.
Let's go Kincaid. Or Jaden, your choice.
So Kincaid, just to get the little correlation there.
The Buffalo correlation, yeah.
Our guy Steve saying he said he's definitely in on McCarthy, and then his next comment says, I do think the Vikes run a bit more this year, so McCarthy might not throw as much as Darnold, Cousins, but coaches' elite weapons are elite. No line could be 5-10 in the league. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That was the biggest thing we argued about last year.
And he might start slow, but he might,
it just take a minute.
He might, yeah.
It was just like same thing. Not the same thing we argued about all last year, but I think you could drop 20 quarterbacks on the Vikings, and the following season, they're probably getting paid $100 million like Sam Darnold did.
Yeah.
Like if they took Geno and put him on Minnesota, like he's getting paid again. If they took Bryce Young and put him on Minnesota, like they're gonna talk about him like he's elite now. Like there's a lot of
this year.
I think he does well. Improved wide receiver room. The coaches have been there a year for him to learn. It's not just the crazy circus he was under at first. So I think he'll do all right. But like Trevor Lawrence, another one, spread. Drop him in Minnesota. He's getting paid next year.
Yeah, let's see if Cohen's got the chops, man.
Yeah, like Steve said right here, even Nick Mullins had a top 14 games all 3 or 4 weeks he started.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, quarterback whisperer.
Or is it just Justin Jefferson?
I do think if JJ starts off like kind of rocky and they do win a couple games, but it's like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I think they call Atlanta and try and spark the thing with Cousins back. They're like, it works. We know it works. Just bring them back.
Yeah, they could actually afford it too. All right, where's Spunky going now? Oh, Spunky.
Justin said Jimmy G. Let's not forget Jimmy's one awesome performance last year under Kevin O'Connell.
Did he play on the Vikings last year?
He must have played that last game. What do you play? No, that last game mattered.
Los Angeles. He was on Los Angeles, wasn't he?
He would have played under the Rams.
Yeah,
he would have been under McVay, not O'Connell.
O'Connell, yeah.
All right, we're coming up in a couple picks. I'm down for some Wan'Dale Robinson if he makes it.
Okay.
Because the only other receivers ahead of him right now are Thielen, Hollywood Brown. Well, now it's just Thielen, McMillan, Leggett.
If we don't get Robinson, I'll take Dubes.
Or
Pierce.
My worry about Pierce is he did all his damage with Anthony Richardson throwing him grenade launchers down the field. So,
but can't Daniel Jones do that same thing?
I know, not that far. Anthony Richardson could probably throw the football the farthest I've ever seen in my life, but it might not go where it needs to go in direction-wise.
Do you think he has the strongest arm in the NFL currently?
Yes. That throw he made last year in week 1 he stumbled and then didn't even set his feet and threw it like 85 yards off his back foot. That right there was the best, not the best throw, but the farthest and strongest throw I've ever seen in the NFL. Do we want to go Noel here to get some pairing with? Okay, I'm good, Noel.
All right, so now we're at what, 6 wide receivers? So we're pretty much good there.
2, 4, 6, 2.
Yeah, we're pretty.
Yeah, Steve's right. McVay and KOC just produced the best from their quarterbacks. Yep. How out are you on Detroit? Or are you still
Anthony Richardson, Rick Vaughn? Do you remember that movie, Major League? Did you
ever
see that,
I remember that.
What was the question?
I said, are you in or out on Detroit this year with the coordinators changing and Frank Ragnow surprise retiring on them after the draft and free agency?
I'm
out.
From a fantasy perspective, I'm still in because I don't think that the offense is going to fall off that much with the quarterback's coach taking over, but I do think the defense is going to fall off without Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and don't you think it could look like how Philly did 2 years ago when they had the coordinators change?
Maybe, but I kind of think I know that he's a Super Bowl champion, but I think that Dan Campbell's got more chops than Sirianni.
No, but the thing is they're both kind of coaches that don't. They're both motivational coaches, I'd like to put it. They're not X's and O's coaches, so the coordinators have to do that. If these coordinators are just running shells of what Detroit was running last year, it could easily look like what Philly did if somebody exposes them, to where everyone's got the game plan now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Tomlin's right in there with those two coaches. He's not an X's and O's coach. He's a motivational guy. That's why we haven't won anything since these coordinators left.
Well, you also don't have a quarterback.
We don't have a quarterback, and the last time we won anything, our coordinators were Bruce Arians and Dick LeBeau.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, so... Switch back over, see what we're coming up into. I don't mind Nick Chubb here. Nick Chubb, Josh Palmer. That'd be the ideal way I'd go here. I think Chubb could be a touchdown machine for Houston.
All right, we have Stroud, so we can do it. Do you think Josh Palmer will do anything for Buffalo?
Me and my buddy were talking about this yesterday morning because he's in on Elijah Moore as his 18th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at their wide receiver room, just the way that they've played last year, and you got to think they play similar to the way they played last year, right? Where they're going to run the ball more. It's not like there's very rarely 4 receiver sets. It's more of 3. The way I think they line up would be Shakir does most of his lineups out of the slot like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the outside guys are going to be Palmer and Coleman, right?
I think so, yeah. Let's get Pat Bryant here, unless you want Palmer.
For
Muth
just went. Muth and Aaron Rodgers just got ripped off the board. So
let's go Pat Bryant.
Palmer. Pat Bryant? Let's go Pat Bryant. Yeah. I'd rather have Pat Bryant than Josh Palmer. But yeah, and then they also still have Curtis Samuel in this wide receiver.
He did absolutely nothing last year. Do you remember how much we loved him?
But do you think he's a better player than Elijah Moore, who kind of do the same thing?
Huh. What happened to my audio?
Can you hear me now?
Is that your audio that died, Tyler, or is it?
Is it mine? That's no good.
Hold on.
Oh, now we got to ask the chat whose audio is dead. Is it his headphones? Is it mine? We need answers. Can you hear me now, Spread?
Yeah, it was my headphones. I don't know why they disconnected real quick.
Yeah, it was just your headphones because Mike Rob came in and said he could hear us both, so neither audio went bad.
What are they talking about Justin Fields?
They gave up on Fields, didn't want to make the system to him, big mistake.
Oh, he's talking probably about Pittsburgh.
Oh, I mean, they should have kept Fields, but that was their mistake.
Yeah, that was weird, huh?
I don't know. I think it just all came down to the fact that they promised Russ he was going to start when he signed.
Yeah.
So when he got hurt and Fields played good, they just needed one reason to pull Fields off the field. He threw one interception, so they were like, "All right, you're done."
Yeah, that's pretty weak.
I think their entire plan was for Russ to play the entire year, them to lowball the shit out of Fields, to be able to sign him for pennies on the dollar, and then keep him. But instead, he was able to play, show that he can play somewhat, and went and got a bigger contract than they wanted to give him.
How do you think he'll do in New York this year? It's a tough division.
It's a tough division, but like, they have a very good offensive line on paper, like very good offensive line on paper.
That's true. Yeah.
Him being able to run the ball probably helps out Breece Hall in the backfield because it gives that extra element. He's repaired with Garrett Wilson, who he played with in college. I mean,
that's a good point.
It's not the worst situation. If the offensive line stays healthy, I think they look decent.
And who's the OC there?
I'd have to let me look right now and see if I can find some. Actually, our pick's up in 3, so
yeah, I'll look that up. You figure out our pick.
Our pick. Where do we want to go? We're sitting on 2-5-7-2.
He's from
There's some Juwan Johnson.
He's actually in the Ben Johnson tree.
Yeah, Wilson Juwan Johnson.
So you got to think they're going to run a lot. So Aaron Glenn brought Tanner Ingstrand over from Detroit with him.
Would you rather have Chig or Juwan Johnson as our third tight end?
Johnson.
Okay.
And then where are we going next?
We can do whatever we want here. 2-5-7-3. Probably a running back or a quarterback.
Who's on the quarterback board?
Rookies: Show, Dart, Shador, Flacco, Ewers, Rush, Mac Jones.
The only one I want out of any of those is Shador.
Yeah, the only one I'd want is Shador too.
Yeah. Maybe some Jackson Dart. Maybe.
I'd take Shador. I'd take the shot on one of these Rams running backs overtaking Kyron Williams. We'll go Corum?
Yes.
I mean, I know Kyron's discussing an extension, but we know how the Rams like to do with their running backs. They only last a couple of years, and then they boot them.
Yeah. All right, talking about Fields, Justin said he has a winning record when they pulled him. Yeah, right? I mean, and it's not a Tomlin thing to do. That was weird. Mike Robb says Fields didn't run much, though, for the Steelers. They want a game manager, and Fields running irrational throws at time makes him not the ideal Tomlin guy. Dude just wants his QB not to lose the game. Yeah, which kind of sucks, right?
Yeah, that's why we're stuck in 2006.
Yeah. So do you think we're going to have a better record than you this year?
Tell me that like if he's going to just try and make Rodgers not lose the game, like tell me that's not just going to eventually clash heads with those two.
Wait, say that one more time.
I said, imagine telling Rodgers just don't lose the game, like don't take the chance to try and win it. Like,
but he
won't throw the ball where it's not supposed to be. But like, if they're like, don't run to extend the drive to keep us in the game. Like he's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah. Steve says if Jets were smart, they would try to build on what the Steelers did. Fields had his best completion rate, lowest interception, and sack rate of his career.
Yeah, you just don't. The thing about Fields is you can't just tell him to go out there and just do it. Like, he has to be in a built system.
Yeah. He says, but Fields wasn't better than Wilson. There's no way they would have won that many games down the stretch with Fields, especially with the tougher schedule and missing 3 starting O-linemen plus Pickens.
I can agree and disagree there because Russ didn't look good either. At least Fields would have put the mobility.
Even when Russ looked good, a lot of it was Pickens just making amazing catches.
Yeah, how many times was Russ just getting sacked in the backfield where Fields would actually ran away and maybe made something out of the play? I mean, neither quarterback was beating those teams.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that the Commanders are up there with the Ravens now?
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue that the Steelers beat the Ravens the first time when they played them in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry fumbled for the first time in 12 years?
Yeah.
They had an interception from a linebacker that caught it like Odell Beckham. Those don't happen all the time. And Lamar Jackson threw 2 of his 4 interceptions on the year in that game.
All right. Who's Spunky got here now?
We're up in 2.
You got Najee, so you got the Felix Castro Best Team Award. He believes in Bryce Young. He took Bryce. Hopefully Shadour's still there for us.
He is, unless he gets picked in the next 2.
If not, I want the Smith guy. Oh, I think Thornton's going to be good too.
My worry about Thornton is there's only 2 other receivers that were as big as him and as fast as him, and it was Randy Moss and Megatron. But why did he make it so late in the draft?
Because he doesn't really have any stats, right?
Yeah, he only got the ball thrown to him 20 times at Tennessee. I'm down to take him, though. I'll take a shot on him in our last round.
You got to think that Pete Carroll.
Either him or Jimmy Horn Jr.
How to use him, though. Let's take Thornton.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. All right, let's go over Spunky's team, and then we'll talk about ours.
All right, let's do it. So Spunky got Bijan, JT, JSN, Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan, Sam Laporta, Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Najee Harris, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Ray Davis, Bryce Young, Braylon Allen, Hunter Henry, Jalen Wright, Denami Brown, Terrence Ferguson, Jalen Royals, and he'll be coming back with his last pick. I like the way he built that team. 3-6-7-3.
Yeah. And I like that his wide receivers have a lot of upside.
Yeah, wide receivers, huge upside, but very, very his wide receiver 1 could end up being Tet. And if Tet's not getting all these targets, that could be a bad little room. But I do like the build. I like the 2 running backs to start.
Yeah.
And then as for our team, we got Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas, Josh Allen, DJ Moore, RJ Harvey, Shakir, Hawkinson, Josh Downs, Etienne, Scatabo, CJ Stroud, Dalton Kincaid, Wandale, Jalen Noel, Nick Chubb, Pat Bryant, Juwan Johnson, Blake Corum, Shador Sanders, and Dante Thornton Jr.
All right, let's do it. Round 20, Dante Thornton. Let's hope that he comes through for us. All right, guys, next week I'll have more energy. I'm just fighting off a stomach flu now, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Tyler, any final words before we get out of here?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Pretty good draft. I like our drafts today. You didn't have much energy, so you didn't put much fight in my arguments, which
I know. I didn't even argue.
Worked out for me.
Probably like, what a ripoff.
Yeah, I couldn't even have spread push back on my picks. I was just able to push them like a revolving door. So might have to poison your food right before Tuesdays every week now.
Yeah, Korean barbecue. Oh,
no,
man.
I'm just kidding.
All right, guys, that's it for us. We will be back next week. Make sure you check out the Fanspeak Best Ball subscription now live. It's only $34.99 for the entire year. Check it out, fanspeak.com.